she came on board as the public health officer in 2008.
Calderwood faulted elected officials for their decision to disobey the governor's directive without my input. She said masks are very easy to use, safe and cheap, and an effective way to stop the spread of COVID-19.
I mean, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I think that this situation has been difficult for anybody who would be, or has been difficult for all the people that are in her position around the state.
At the same time, Hoffman defends the support the commissioners and staff have given the health department since last spring and expects that to continue as the pandemic drags on.
I'm disappointed in the tone of the letter with regard to, what some citizens have characterized as a lack of support for public health. I think it's been just the opposite. The county commissioners, the sheriff's office have all dedicated nothing but unequivocal support to public health during this time.
Calderwood said she had hoped to stay with the county through the pandemic, that she's reluctant to quit because of her loyalty to the county's residents and public health nurses. Hoffman says the commissioners intend to continue using her expertise as the department transitions into a new director. In Hamilton, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
Now, Dennis tells us the county's Board of Health will discuss Calderwood's resignation when it meets next week.
2 more people in Montana have died from COVID-19. A woman in her 80s died on Saturday, and a man in his 80s died Sunday at the Canyon Creek Memory Care in Billings. In the last 2 weeks, 12 people have passed away at that facility. The state health department's once-a-day report shows 88 new cases, including 34 in Gallatin County. The Gallatin City County Health Department reports after the state and shows 6 new cases since the weekend. An additional 2 cases were reassigned to Gallatin County. There are 89 confirmed active cases and 2 people currently in the hospital in the county. The new cases are located in the Gallatin Valley, Big Sky, and West Yellowstone. Madison County now has 1 new case for 45. Butte Silverbow shows no new cases. It stands with a total of 30.
Well, as things continue to change every day with this pandemic, we're seeing how different businesses and organizations are also changing. MTN's Annie Johnson explains how that's happening.
We've done a couple of stories about how this pandemic is forcing different businesses and restaurants to adapt. Well, one thing that's making it easier to adapt is technology.
It's really simple. Just put your camera over here, it scans it, you hit the website, and it brings it right up to our menus.
Montana Ale Works is one of several Bozeman restaurants utilizing technology to adapt during a pandemic.
We also made the decision to kind of use an older technology of QR codes. So the guests that were coming into our building that still probably might not feel comfortable touching paper or any of that stuff, they could take their phone and scan the QR code,
which pulls up the restaurant's entire menu. Even local churches are utilizing technology more.
As a church, the word is we've pivoted like lots of organizations, and we've tried to figure out how to bring the church to people.
Which is where technology comes in.
We did amp it up a bit to make it more dynamic and interesting and really change our complete focus of how we do the technology side, from focusing on providing an experience for people in the room to how do we translate that to people who are watching online.
And for these 2 organizations, the small use of technology has created a big difference.
These small steps mean a lot to not only our staff, but also to our guests. So whatever we can do and we can continue to adapt is the direction we're going to continue to head.
Technology allows us to leverage the good news of Jesus.
The online church services and QR codes are only a few ways we've seen how places are utilizing technology to adapt, but it's likely we'll see more as the pandemic progresses. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
6:35 now in Butte. Looks like they've been having too much of a good thing. MTN's John Amy tells us about the downside of asymptomatic testing for COVID-19.
Butte will follow the state's mandate to only conduct testing on people showing symptoms of coronavirus. Local health officials say the national spikes in places like Florida and Texas has caused the testing labs in Colorado and Kansas to become inundated.
Quest became overwhelmed. It's a sheer volume problem, capacity, that resulted in tests being turned around in Montana anywhere from 7 to 14 days. That turnaround time is inadequate.
Butte will only test people showing symptoms of the virus or those people that the health department have found had close contact with people with confirmed cases of COVID-19 through contact tracing.
Unless you've been contacted by the health department, you need not worry about being a close contact.
Most of Butte's active COVID-19 cases were from people who had traveled out of state or got it through direct contact with an infected person.
And then some of our cases, 5 of the 19 that we've had recently, we don't know how they got it. And so that is concerning.
The health department says that everyone can do their part to help prevent the spread of the virus by following a few simple procedures.
Social distance, wear a mask, wash your hands all day, every day. Those simple public health precautions that we preach over and over.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
John tells us the health department will contact people in need of testing, which will be done at the Southwest Montana Community Health Center in Butte.
And if you're looking for a job, you might want to keep this in mind. Local photographers across the country joining a nationwide effort this